That time, the sticker on your car says you need an oil change, so you pull up, you ask for an oil change, and they ask you what kind of oil you need. Now, if you're like me, you're not gonna know what to say, so of course we're coming to Bob Gugino, our Western New York Auto Care specialist. Now, Bob, before we get into different kinds of oil, let's sort of establish how often you wanna make sure you get your oil checked.
You know, as far as checking your oil, probably once a month or so is a good idea to do that. But as far as the oil change going, the mileage maintenance as the manufacturer recommends is probably the best way to go by, unless you're doing some severe service like towing a trailer or maybe something else like that, a long trip. You might want to get ahead of it and do it a little sooner than that.
Now, I have to admit, whenever I get my oil change, I just ask them to give me the cheapest oil, you know, kind of staying on that budget, but this might not be the best option. So what different oils are there?
Well, you know, you have to use the kind of oil that's actually recommended for your car by the manufacturer. You just can't put any old type of oil in.
All right, so you have a whole spread right here in front of us. Why don't you give us a rundown, kind of explaining all the different kinds of motor oil?
Sure. Now, back in the day, we used to use a regular conventional mineral oil like this type here, which is a great oil, meets all the specs for those types of cars, but maybe not necessarily good for today's engines. Now, some of your other manufacturers like Ford and Honda use what they call a synthetic blend, which is, again, a blend between the mineral oils that we're accustomed to and a synthetic oil, and they blend them together. And that's the oil that you have to use in that car. Not only would you avoid your warranties, but you also would lose a lot of engine protection. The next thing you have is a synthetic oil. More and more manufacturers like General Motors, ever since 2011, have required synthetic motor oil to be put into their vehicles. Now, as the cars get older and older, and I know we've talked about in the past on how the cars are on the road a lot longer today than they ever been in the past, they now make an oil that's made for cars that have over 75,000 miles. Using a product like this will help it slow the oil burning down if you have that problem, swell the seals in the valve seals and inside the engine, so it helps the oil consumption decrease and also give you added protection as the engine bearings and those types of things wear out. And of course, when we have extended oil change intervals, it's important to use a quality oil filter to make sure that it meets those demands. And some of your more economy oil filters don't do the best. So something like a Napa Gold filter will meet all the requirements that you could possibly ask for.
So now, when we're working with Western New York Auto Care, of course, Napa, are they going to recommend which oil we're going to want to use for our specific car?
Well, I think the first thing that they're going to do is they're going to tell you what oil that is required for your car, like I mentioned. But then after that, you certainly can step it up if you wanted to go to a semi-synthetic or a synthetic oil, or of course, like I mentioned, on a high mileage car, go to a high mileage oil. You certainly can upgrade to that.
All right, thank you, Bob. And of course, we're going to continue to coming to Western New York Auto Care for all of our car tips and all of the knowledge we need to keep us safe on the road.
Thank you very much.